So what will be the impact of Boehner's abrupt decision to leave Congress in the middle of his third term as Speaker? Let's talk about that and other political issues with CBS News senior political editor Steve Chaggaris. He is in our Washington bureau. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Benita.
So what do you think? Was it the Pope? Was it the pressure? What was it that you think finally led to this decision?
I think it was probably a combination of all that. I mean, these hardline Tea Party conservatives who were threatening this government shutdown in the Planned Parenthood fight, they were also threatening to oust Boehner. And he didn't want to put his members through what he called the turmoil of a tough vote on trying to decide whether they should support him or not.
Steve, Juliana mentioned the whole issue of the shutdown and how it now actually seems less likely that that's going to happen. How does that work exactly?
Well, so the shutdown, the budget, I mean, the funding runs out for the government at the end of the month. And so the Congress needs to figure out how to keep the government running. They're going to pass some sort of short-term spending bill. But they were, the right wing of the Republican Party was sort of threatening to hold that up in order to force a defunding of Planned Parenthood. Now that Boehner is gone, I think you're going to see some sort of short-term budget agreement before the end of the month.
You know, you look at the roster, and second in line is Kevin McCarthy. What difference would that make if he is nominated, and do you think it will be him?
Well, the problem for McCarthy is a deep distrust of the establishment by these hardline conservative and Tea Party members. These members were elected to shake things up, buck the establishment. They may not stand by and rubber stamp somebody like McCarthy at a time when the Republicans hold a majority in both House and the Senate. This infighting, really, it isn't ideal for them, especially going into an election year.
So are there likely challengers, do you think, to McCarthy, serious ones?
There could be, and that's the decision that these hardliners are going to have to take. Are they going to push back against McCarthy? By the way, somebody who's very highly regarded by his colleagues, somebody who's been out there on the road raising a lot of money for members, for Republican members. So there is sort of goodwill on McCarthy's part. Do they challenge him, or do they try to put people up in some of the lower, the number 2 majority leader, majority whip slots, and try to gain some influence there?
Well, as you know, this is not only happening in the midst of the possible shutdown, it's also happening in the middle of a very large GOP presidential field. So how do you think this could affect that?
Well, it's already affecting it in a way. I mean, the anti-establishment outsider flames are already being fanned by the 2016 candidates, people like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, and even Rand Paul, who's already trying to raise money off of Boehner's resignation. He sent out an email last night. The question is will this infighting result in such polarization that absolutely nothing gets done on the Hill? And if so, as the majority in both houses, the Republicans and the eventual Republican nominee will have to explain that to voters.
Steve Chaggaris this morning in Washington. Thank you so much. Tune in to CBS tomorrow morning when outgoing House Speaker John Boehner will be John Dickerson's guest on Face the Nation. His first live interview since announcing his resignation. I wonder if he'll do a little of that zippity-doo-dah again.
He looked awfully happy.
Yeah.